And we're live.
All right, and here we are. Woohoo! Mandy got here, and she was running all the way from Hagrid's garden shed, where she's been busy with all the things she's been up to.
Even had a minute to stop for coffee.
Ah,
Just barely made it in time.
barely. Goodness. All right.
Okay.
And Hedwig's here too. Hello.
Yeah, you just keep that bird over there, please.
That's all right.
I grab the book.
Oh, Miss Pittman's watching.
Hello.
So let's see, we are on chapter 14.
Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback. Exciting.
Super.
Yep. Well, we started with would the stone last till Tuesday, and apparently it does.
Awesome.
He's strong. What is it? He's braver than they ever thought.
That's right. That's right.
So proud of Quirrell
I know.
in that moment.
That probably yes.
So let's catch up. Well, you know that there's a dragon
Yep.
Yes.
because of the
dragon right there.
The dragon and the title. So what happens, you guys?
Well, they have. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. They have a lot of homework to do.
Hermione is loving that.
Yes.
She's getting ready. She's starting her revision for her first year exams.
And they were in the library, and Hagrid wandered in, looking very shifty. And they were wondering what he had behind his back. And he was wondering what they were up to.
I'm just trying to
Because-
figure out how Hagrid thinks he is inconspicuous.
When you come and you're that size and you wander into the library, yes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yep. Little hard to do.
Hagrid should never try to hide. Like, just,
Exactly.
it doesn't work out for him.
Nope. And so he suspected them of still looking for Nicholas Flamel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they admitted that, oh, come on, we found out all about who he is a long time ago.
They know, they're caught up.
Mhm.
They can read a chocolate frog card.
That's right. That's right.
But they find out Hagrid's looking up dragon books. I'm kind of surprised they're still kept in the library if it's been illegal since 1700.
Well, how else was Charlie supposed to find out that he loved them if he didn't
Mhm.
read about them?
That's right. Exactly.
But you think they'd at least take out the dragon breeding book that
Yeah.
whatever Hagrid got.
Dragon species of Great Britain and Ireland, from egg to inferno, a dragon keeper's guide. That would be an interesting book.
For sure, for sure.
Probably
I'd love to read that.
Charlie probably had that checked out all 7 years.
All 7 years. Yeah.
It lived in his dorm room.
Yep.
Along with the other creatures, I'm sure that he harbored.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so dragon breeding is illegal, and Harry goes, "There are no wild dragons in Britain." And Ron goes, "Of course there are."
Well screened and
bleh.
check that out. Isn't that gorgeous?
Wow. Oh my gosh, that Ukrainian iron belly has like
Mhm.
spikes sticking out of the top. Wow.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And then what happened next?
Let's see here. They went down to the hut, knocked on the door, and it is absolutely stifling in there.
About like today.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that was inside. We live on AC over here.
Yeah.
Let's see, absolutely stifling.
And
And
suddenly,
they,
what did
they
they
ask,
see in the
they ask what else is protecting the stone.
stone? Yes.
So many secrets, you guys.
Lots of secrets.
And pretty
Yeah.
much all the teachers did something.
Even
Mhm.
Snape.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be honest, the first time I read it, did not believe it. I really didn't. I thought maybe he just did something minor, like something that Hermione could undo. As simple as a Alohomora.
Right.
And they asked to open a window, and Hagrid says they can't because in the heart of the fire is a huge black egg.
And Hagrid, what is that?
Right there.
It's a dragon egg.
It's like
And
it's right there.
Ron knew what it was.
See, and I'm wondering, Ron has got to know more than he lets on about dragons. I wonder if maybe he was actually more excited to see it, or almost as excited to see it as Hagrid.
Maybe.
It's
Oh,
possible.
curious.
Mm-hmm.
But he probably learnt a lot through Charlie.
Right.
Yeah, from his brother, so yeah.
And here's the book that probably should have been taken out of the library a while back now. Dragon Breeding for Pleasure and Profit.
Yeah, I don't think that belongs in the Hogwarts library.
No, it might be time to, it's 200 years out of date by now. Might be time for it to go.
As much as I don't love censorship, I think that is one that needed to come out.
Should not trust a child book from 200 years ago.
You gotta know your audience. You've got to know your audience.
But how do dragons, what do they breathe? I mean, fire.
In a tiny wooden hut.
And then that's it. I mean, Hermione reminds Hagrid that he lives in a wooden house. Oh.
And I mean, it takes Hermione, but I feel like everybody should know this.
Yes. But Hagrid is already so excited about the thought of, his little baby dragon.
And then in the middle of speaking and in the middle of all this excitement, who comes to the window?
Yeah.
Or, well, should I say, who is running away from the window?
Ah.
Any comments?
I think everybody knows.
Yep.
It could only be.
Malfoy.
Ah.
Why?
No.
Why? This kid is so not nice. He's
Ah.
sneaky.
I know.
Except that only happens in the movie. In the book, Ron is complaining they're doing extra homework.
Oh, that's what
And
it is.
Ron in year one wonders what would be like to have a peaceful life.
Oh, this poor kid has nothing. He does not know. He has no idea what is to come.
Yeah, and one breakfast, Hedwig brings Harry a note from Hagrid. He wrote only 2 words, it's hatching. Ron wanted to skip herbology and go straight to the hut. Hermione wouldn't hear of it.
Well, that would have given them away, too, if all 3 of them had been missing.
Yes,
So
from
Ron
class.
says, Hermione, how many times in our life are we going to see a dragon hatching? We have lessons, we'll get in trouble. And that's nothing to what Hagrid will be in when someone finds out what he's doing. Shut up, whispered Harry. Malfoy was just a few feet away and he had stopped dead. So there's no looking through the window.
It wasn't that time.
No,
That was a movieism.
that was a movie, but he still heard there was a dragon.
Yeah.
They do run down to Hagrid's at morning break. And the egg is laying on the table and making funny clicking and cracking noises.
That's right. That's right.
And then out pops a wet umbrella.
You guys just
Crumpled
imagine.
wet umbrella.
Just imagine. That's just like if your umbrella, after it broke and it's just wet and laying there. Imagine if it came to life. That's what I imagine. Because I have to get there first. I have to think about the umbrella first and then.
Yeah.
Do we have a bigger picture of Norbert? Or is
Let's
it
see.
just,
I bet we do.
Or do we
I
not?
don't
Is he
know.
just in his egg? Oh, there's the movieism.
Well, there's the movieism. Well, he does later.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He follows.
Later.
He follows them to the.
I was just ahead of myself. He does see
He follows them to the house.
this guy. And oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous?
Despite the fact it'll kill you.
I mean, well, so pretty though.
On the other hand, I wouldn't mind getting to know Charlie and meeting some of those dragons.
Says Katie, our resident rescue person who loves all animals, any shape or size. If you haven't met her, this is Katie. She loves all of the animals.
Yes.
And let's see here. Once Malfoy's seen it, they spend the next week trying to get Hagrid to release the dragon. But Norbert's too little. He will die.
Well, think about it. A kitten or a puppy or even a baby bird. You have to, they need help. That's why they have their moms. And that's why rescues have so many of them. Because they can't survive on their own.
No.
But that doesn't mean that you want to keep it in your wooden house.
Nope.
No.
Especially since it had grown 3 times its length in a week.
Oh my goodness. And I want to talk about this animal's diet for a second. What, can you tell us what he eats?
It was all
Brandy and
the
chicken.
Brandy and chicken. I mean, wow.
Chicken blood, sorry.
Yeah, buckets of chicken blood, you guys. Like,
And empty brandy. Yeah, all these empty brandy bottles in Hagrid's hut. I mean, seriously?
so Hagrid has got a drunk baby vampire with wings in his hut that can breathe fire. Just keep that in mind.
All right.
So we won't let it go because it's too little. And they're starting to think Hagrid's lost his mind. Malfoy could go at any minute. And then Harry goes, Charlie.
And Ron thinks he's gone a little bit crazy for a moment because he's going, I'm Ron, I'm not Charlie.
So just think about how many times Ron has been called by another sibling's name. Like, you think about your mom, if you've got a bunch of siblings, or your grandparents, if you've got a bunch of cousins. I know I've been called every name in the book.
And sometimes they'll go through 3 or 4 different names before they actually finally get to your name.
My grandmother goes, Brittany, Nikki, Savannah, Mandy, and then it gets to me. So just poor Ron, he can't escape it. So he's just thinking, oh, okay, Harry's losing it too.
Yep.
But Harry has an idea.
Yeah.
What's the idea?
Pretty good one.
Send Norbert to Charlie in Romania. I'm sure that's against several international laws, but neither here nor there. They're 11 and desperate.
Right.
Yep.
Transporting.
And they want to help Hagrid, and they want to help little Norbert, who's not so little anymore, but
Still too little to be on his own.
oh, of course. Yeah.
So they send an owl to Charlie. What would you even say in such a letter?
Oh, I also get Kaniki. That's my Aunt Kaniki who's watching. Hi, I get called Kaniki a lot too. I'm sorry, Margaret, what'd you say?
What would you even say in such a letter? How would you even...
Yeah, how do you communicate that?
Hey, we have a baby dragon. Could you come pick it up?
You
Please
could
save
go
us.
literally.
You know,
You
Please
could
save
go
us.
literally.
I think you'd have to do that.
I think you would too. There's no other way than to just pure honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, hey, Charlie, you want to come visit us at Hogwarts for a minute? And then when he gets there, Papa, oh, hey, here's a dragon. I don't think it would have worked.
I'm quite surprised there's not a second letter going, did friend George put you up to this?
Yeah.
Is this a joke? How did this end up here?
Right? But he believes him. He believes him. That's his
of course
brother.
he believes it. And not only that, but he knows Hagrid.
And that's where
Yes. Yes.
Like, I wouldn't say automatically believing it was his brother is a sibling thing.
No, no.
You're more likely to go,
If Hagrid's involved, it's probably true.
Yeah.
Okay, so the week goes by because Charlie hasn't. Okay, Wednesday night.
Yes.
Hermione and Harry are in the common room doing their homework. Well, pretending to, I'm sure. And the clock had just timed midnight when Ron appears out of nowhere. He had been helping him feed Norbert, who now eats dead rats, by the carton. And Norbert had bit him. And
Well,
then-
after thinking about that, it makes me wonder, why does Fang have his tail all wrapped up? What happened to Fang?
he got bitten as well. Poor Fang.
Probably. Poor
Poor
Fang.
Poor baby.
Aww.
Oh my gosh, he has a little rabbit too.
He does.
You guys, he has a rabbit. He has a stuffed rabbit. Okay, I'll stop gushing over the puppy now.
And Charlie says, "Sure, I'll take a dragon, but they must not. My friends must not be seen carrying an illegal dragon."
And I mean,
Where
this
are
is
they?
not that hidden. I would not call that inconspicuous.
Yeah.
But they do. They come and they get the dragon, and they fly off, and everything's hunky dory. End of book. It's done.
No.
Yep. Except
No.
Ron's hand got turned a nasty shade of green, so he had to go to the hospital wing.
Yeah.
And Malfoy, being Malfoy, said he wanted to borrow one of Ron's books so he could threaten Ron, because Malfoy apparently doesn't have any homework to do.
How bored do you have to be that evil? You gotta work at it. You gotta work that hard to be that mean.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that letter that Charlie sent Ron about coming to pick up the dragon and where they should arrange to meet at midnight was in that book that Malfoy took. So,
Well, while this is going on,
yes.
Malfoy's trying to get them in trouble.
Yep.
But karma comes back.
Let's see. We get Norbert almost to the top of the tower. Sudden movement ahead of them made him almost drop the crate. Forgetting they were already invisible, they shrank into the shadows. A lamp flared. Professor McGonagall, in a tartan dressing gown and hairnet, had Malfoy by the ear.
Ooh, do it, Katie.
Detention! She shouted. And 20 points from Slytherin! Wandering around in the middle of the night. How dare you!
You don't understand, Professor. Harry Potter's coming. He's got a dragon.
What utter rubbish! How dare you tell such lies? Come on, I shall see Professor Snape about you, Malfoy.
I love you, Katie. I love you so much.
Alrighty. There we go.
Makes my day every time. I love it. But that's what happens when you're mean. It comes back to haunt you later.
Yes. So,
Charlie,
they were
yep.
invisible and they went all the way to the top of the tower.
Yep.
Carrying the crate with Norbert in it.
How would you even manage that? Hogwarts is so
I have no idea.
tall.
Magic? Magic? Anyone? Anyone?
Even
Well,
with
I
magic,
think-
I don't know if that'd be possible.
I think that sometimes when you really, really want to do something, you can do it.
Maybe it's all about intention
Yes.
and
it's-
doing things on purpose.
Yes. And deciding that we are going to succeed.
And not fall off the tower. And to be fair, that doesn't look like a super safe tower to.
I don't think it actually is super safe. I think there've got to be so many protective charms to keep children from falling off.
Let's see. Charlie's friends were a cheery lot. They showed Harry and Hermione the harness they had rigged up. They helped buckle Norbert safely into it. They shook hands and thanked them very much. And at last, Norbert was gone. They slipped down the spiral staircase, their hearts as light as their hands. No more dragon. Malfoy detention. What else could spoil their happiness? The answer was waiting at the foot of the staircase.
Oh.
Filch's face loomed suddenly out of the darkness.
Do it, Katie, do it.
Well, he whispered. We are in trouble. What had they done? They'd left the invisibility cloak at the top of the stairs.
You're so careful the whole time. The whole time. But you forget the one most important thing to keep you from getting in trouble. Isn't that how it always goes? You work so hard to prepare and then you forget the important thing. Goes to show it happens to all of us.
So that brings us to the next. That was
Yep.
the end of chapter 14.
Yep. And let's see.
Did we have any questions on that?
Yeah,
We
did
got
I have any questions
2
on
of them. Let's see here. One is, would you hatch a dragon? And the other one is, who has spent spring break doing homework? I think we've all done that.
Katie says yes on both. I'm
You do go with Bill at one time to go visit Charlie, and you end up in a Norwegian Ridgeback. I'm very unhappy.
no.
In its cave, and you have to get past it, and you're like, okay, it will kill me.
That's
And
terrifying.
you have no armor.
I would want to see Professor. I would not want to be there to be in trouble, but I would
No.
want to see it. I bet it's got all kinds of cool stuff in there, and I bet she's got all kinds of cool books. I bet you if I pick up the phone, it'll turn into a lizard or something because she's transfigured everything.
Exactly.
And there's probably a cat bed somewhere.
Oh, there's gotta be.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
See, because she has to make room for the books.
Yep.
She has to make room for all the fun stuff that she wants to put in there. So of course she has a tiny cat bed, and that's where she sleeps. Of course she does. That's headcanon.
We never see the teachers' dormitories, do we? The teachers' rooms.
We really don't.
No.
We see their offices. I guess that we just assume that they sleep in their offices. I don't know.
I think
Maybe-
most of us
maybe
assume that
they-
about teachers.
Yeah.
Maybe they magically just have a bed appear when they need to sleep.
Maybe the whole room transfigures into a bedroom
That's
at
right.
the end of the day.
Or maybe
I
Snape's
mean-
in a coffin.
He does look like a vampire, doesn't he?
Oh, so just think about what have they done? They've been out of bounds,
Mm-hmm.
up a tower, in the middle of the night.
Which is out of bounds except for classes.
Yeah, exactly. They're not supposed to be out of their beds. I mean, what are they gonna say?
I mean, and the thing that they were doing, it was a good thing. They were doing it, you know, to be kind and helpful, but they can't tell anybody that.
Exactly, because they don't want to get Hagrid in trouble, or
Right.
Charlie and his friends, or
Right.
anybody, and they're like, how could they have forgotten the invisibility cloak?
There's just no way out of
Oh.
this one.
Oh,
And what is their punishment?
Well, unfortunately, someone else comes along because when McGonagall appears, she's leading Neville.
Poor
Oh,
Neville.
no.
Everything
And
happens
Neville-
to him.
Tries to warn them. He heard Malfoy say he was going to capture you. He said you had a dragon. Harry shook his head violently to shut Neville up, but Professor McGonagall had seen. She was more likely to breathe fire than Norbert.
Oh. I can just see the look on her face too, just scrunched up and ready to blow. Poor Professor. She was asleep. She was asleep, and somebody had to wake her up.
well, first Malfoy did,
Yeah,
of course,
because she's a cat
with
and
his
she can't.
story.
She can't sleep well because obviously, you know, if you've ever had a cat, you know if you tiptoe past it, you're not getting past it. It's gonna wake up immediately. So you know she was frustrated after being woken up from Malfoy, and then 3 of her own house.
Yeah.
And now Neville thinks that his friends, who he thought were his friends, have gotten him in trouble because it's funny. Or that's what he
Yeah.
thinks that they think.
But finally, Professor McGonagall says that I think I've got a good idea of what's been going on. It doesn't take a genius to work it out. You fed Draco Malfoy some cock and bull story about a dragon trying to get him out of bed and into trouble. I've already caught him. I suppose you think it's funny that Longbottom here heard the story and believed it too.
I've got chills. I'm scared. I've got chills.
I mean, now what? I mean, what, how would you feel if you're standing there and you're thinking, what do I say?
Terrified, speechless.
Oh, no.
So they get detention and 50 points taken from Gryffindor. And Harry does what he shouldn't do when you're in trouble, which is
You
open
never,
your mouth.
Never, never back talk. Don't do it because then
She says, 50 points each.
each.
No!
They'll never win the the house cup now.
Oh.
They're in the very bottom. Okay, so they get sent back to their rooms. Harry couldn't sleep, and he hears Neville sobbing all night. At first, the Gryffindors who passed the Great Hourglasses the next morning thought it was a mistake.
The Great
However,
Hourglass.
Suddenly, 150 points lower than last year. Then the
the
stores-
last day.
And yesterday.
And yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
Yesterday.
Oh.
Then the story started to spread. So Harry's suddenly the most hated person in school.
Oh no.
You guys, just imagine this woman mad at you. I couldn't handle it.
Oh.
We do love her though.
Yes.
She means well. She's trying.
Well, she's trying to teach them a lesson because it's also dangerous
That's
to
right.
go wandering around the school at night. When you think about Fluffy, the three-headed dog, guarding something there, someone else might be trying to come in.
She's just trying to keep
She's trying to keep them safe. Yes.
So you always have to remember, even if you don't understand all the rules and if you think you might know better,
There are reasons for those rules.
just trying to keep you safe.
Okay, let's see here. Harry tries to resign from the Quidditch team, which he's not allowed to do. And Harry, Ron, and Hermione spend more time studying because they can't do anything else now.
Right,
Right.
They might pass those exams yet.
Yep.
The week before exams started, Harry's new resolve to not interfere with anything was put to a test. Walking back from the library, he heard someone whispering in a classroom ahead. When he drew closer, he heard Quirrell's voice.
No, no, not again, please.
It sounded as though someone was threatening him. Harry moved closer.
All right. He heard Quirrell sob.
The next second, Quirrell comes running out of the classroom, straightening his turban. He was pale and looked like he was about to cry. Harry didn't think Quirrell even noticed him. He waited till Quirrell's footsteps had disappeared, then peered into the classroom. It was empty, but the door stood ajar on the other end. And he's back in again.
Poor Quirrell. After all that hard work, we're trying to pep him up.
I mean, what is going on?
Well, we don't know.
There's
There's no communication in this school.
It's like, what is happening? Wow. I don't know.
And then next,
Let's see. The light of adventure kindles in Ron's eyes, and then Hermione answers, "Go to Dumbledore." We should have done it ages ago. If we try anything else ourselves, we will be thrown out for sure.
that's right. You always, when there's a problem bigger than yourself, you always go to the person you know can handle it and ask for help. It's always okay to ask for help.
Right, but like Harry says, they have no proof. They have no proof of anything.
Okay.
So,
They're going to leave it alone. They've done enough poking around, and the next morning, their detention will be served at 11 o'clock tonight.
And what is their detention?
Going into the Forbidden Forest, which is forbidden for a reason,
Yes.
as we find out.
And terrifying. It is terrifying, you guys. That's scary. I wouldn't want to go in there.
Let's see. Harry wonders what they're not immediately told what their punishment is. Harry wonders what their punishment is. It must be something really horrible, or Filch wouldn't be so delighted.
Yeah, you know something's up when Filch is happy.
yes.
He's never happy.
What does he say? He says he keeps the chains that they used to use oiled up in case they ever need to come back.
Old Inquisition methods. Let's skip that one.
Yeah, just no.
Skip the Inquisition. We're okay.
So I guess the Forbidden Forest is better than that. So
But then he realizes that they are going to Hagrid's hut. Oh, so Harry feels a little better.
little breath of relief.
Oh.
So Hagrid tells them what it is that they're going to do in the Forbidden Forest. They're looking for a hurt unicorn. Can you imagine? You think about unicorns, you think about beauty and grace and
Yes.
just perfect type of animal. And just imagine it being hurt. That's just like, that's one of the saddest things in the world, is a hurt unicorn. So they're in there, they're looking for that.
Now remember, Malfoy is with them because they all got detention.
And
They
he
all
does
did.
he does
Yep.
put in his "My Father" line for the first time.
Oh my. Tell my father hears about this.
Mhm.
He mentions his father for the first time in attempt to get out of trouble, which he does.
It doesn't always work.
Doesn't usually work.
I mean, you're here on your own merit, Malfoy. You gotta know you can't call on your parents to get you out of trouble all the time. You've got to face your own music.
Okay, so yeah, we go looking for unicorn. We divide into two groups: Malfoy and Neville, and Fang, and Harry, Hermione, and Hagrid.
And I understand what Hagrid's going for here, but how did he ever think that this was good pairing? Like he can't trust Malfoy as far as he could throw him. And Neville is terrified of everything. Bless his heart. And then we all know that Fang is a coward.
Yep.
We love him to death, but he's a terrified puppy. And that just goes to prove true, doesn't it?
Yes.
So Malfoy scares Neville.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, he scares
Just
him.
trying to have some fun, which is, Malfoy's version of fun. He scares Neville, and they...
Well, they actually, before
Oh.
he scares him, don't they run into the...
The centaurs! I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Did any of you know what a centaur was before you read this book? Let us know in the comments.
They're actually different from the mythical centaurs. The mythical centaurs are a little bit fun-loving.
Uh-huh. Maybe mischievous a
Put
bit.
it that way. They like a good party. Outside of, they do like the astronomy's right. They
Right.
like to study. They've always studied the planets and moving to the stars. But yeah, there are only a couple centaurs that are not as fun-loving in classical mythology.
Well, these guys are very, very serious.
Yes.
And,
they are.
They keep repeating the same thing. Mars is bright tonight.
Yep.
Wonder what that means.
Yeah. Do we know why they like Mars?
If you guys know, let us know in the comments. Tell us.
And of course, there was something interesting that happened when they stopped. There was a sound,
Oh, they
like
did hear
something
something.
slithering over leaves.
Slithering. Interesting.
And Hagrid
But
said
we
it
don't
is
know
no
what it
werewolf.
is.
Why are there werewolves that live in this forest?
There are multiple theories.
And Hagrid, he
Everyone
basically
keeps, oh, if
says
it's the other
that,
werewolves, it's fine.
that sound was not made by a werewolf or a unicorn or any other creature that he knows. So, what is it? That makes the Forbidden Forest even more scary. I'm like, oh.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Ooh.
Considering we know now even more what's in the forest.
Right?
There's some scary things in that forest.
So Malfoy scares Neville, and we regroup. And what are our new groups? It's Hagrid, Hermione, and Neville. And then
Malfoy, Harry, and Fang.
and this pairing still, like at this point, wouldn't you want everyone all together?
I
Just
know.
as
It's
the
like,
adults.
please, can we just be a group?
Right? It's always better not to split up.
Oh.
And whatever's in the forest apparently doesn't care they're there anyway. So I mean,
That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
the more noise is not going to make much of a difference.
Right.
Let's see. They walk for half an hour deeper into the forest. Splashes of blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Something bright gleaming on the ground. They inch closer. It is the unicorn, and it is dead.
Oh, poor unicorn.
Takes one more step when the slithering sound makes him freeze. Out of the shadows come a hooded figure crawling along the ground. It lowers its head to the wound in the unicorn's side and drinks its blood.
No, skip it. Go ahead. Fast forward. I don't like it.
And then Malfoy and Fang flee for their lives.
Malfoy, to talk so big, to talk so
Yes.
tough,
Mm-hmm.
gonna just run and leave Harry. We understand Fang.
Poor Fang.
Poor Fang. But Malfoy, come on, man.
And so this hooded figure suddenly raises its head and comes straight at Harry, and he can't even move. He's like,
He's just stunned.
like, what? What?
But someone comes in to the rescue.
Yes, but
Yes.
remember what happened.
Oh, yeah, right before that.
Oh,
The pain in his scar.
his scar.
What does that mean? Why is his scar hurting? This thing ain't even touching him.
No.
So many questions. So many questions.
Yeah.
But then our hero,
He's a younger centaur with white blonde hair and a palomino body. Named... Where's his name?
Friends.
Friends. It's like, where's his name? I should know this.
Friends. It's a very interesting name. I actually kind of
Mhm.
like it. I wonder what it means. I'll have to look that up later.
And then Friends gets yelled at by the other two centaurs.
Because he helps Harry get back out to where the others are.
By riding
Away
on his
from-
back.
Yes.
And they think that that's not good for a centaur to allow a human to ride on their back.
To be fair, we haven't. If I remember my magical history correctly, wizards really haven't treated the centaur that well either. So.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand it. I do.
They're not huge fans of us either.
It's just so sad. Why can't everybody be nice to each other?
But how brave was Ferenz, because he leapt over Harry and chased that
Whatever.
whatever it was.
I want
away.
a centaur friend, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
We have a little more talk of Mars and the planets.
And Ferenz stands up to his fellow centaurs.
Mhm.
Very brave. I think Ferenz would be a Gryffindor if he were sorted.
Probably.
Very, very
He
brave.
was very brave. Yes.
Okay, and Mars is the god of war.
Yes.
So hopefully he's not seeing a war coming.
No.
But
Hopefully not.
Mars is bright
Yeah.
tonight.
Yes. Mhm.
Let's see, and then Harry asks why the centaurs are mad, and Friends kind of he avoids the question, but asks, does he know the use of unicorn blood?
No, they only use the horn and the tail. So what is it?
It's a monstrous thing to slay a unicorn. Only one who has nothing to use and everything to gain would commit a crime. The blood of a unicorn will keep you alive if you're an inch from death. But you, at a terrible price, you have slain something pure and defenseless to save yourself, and you will have a cursed life from that moment forward. And Harry wonders who would be that desperate.
Can you think of no one?
Okay.
Who would be that desperate?
I think we all know who would be that desperate.
You want to say it?
Do we say his name? He who shall not be named.
Are we brave?
Are we brave? Shall we? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Voldemort. Definitely.
Oh.
I actually feel a little better after saying it. Do not be afraid of a
Yes.
name.
No.
Don't do it.
No. Exactly.
Let's see. And then they get Harry out of the forest as fast as possible. And they go back to the common room where Ron has been very sweet and waited for them to come back.
How nice.
Although he was apparently dreaming about Quidditch, so Ron's still normal. And
And
Harry's-
Harry is telling him and Hermione what happened in the forest. And he kept saying that he was so sure that Snape wanted that stone for Voldemort. And Ron keeps telling him to stop saying the name. Don't say that name. No. So,
So after all of this, we get back and we're feeling better and we're safe inside the castle. And then Harry finds something.
yes.
Something's been left for him.
That's right.
under his sheets, they're inside his made-up bed. That's a feat. How do you get that? How do you get the invisibility cloak in his made-up bed?
Oh, I know. Magic.
Or house elf.
Absolutely. Yes.
House elf magic.
Brownie
Yes.
magic.
There we go.
Let's
And
see
there
here.
was a note pinned to it too.
With the same loopy writing.
And what does it say?
Just in case.
Just in case. What does that mean?
How cryptic is that?
Just in case of what?
I don't know. What?
Maybe we'll have to find out
Yes.
next week.
Two more
Yes.
chapters.
2 more chapters. So
Yep.
next week will be our final meeting.
It
Oh,
will be. It'll be over,
no.
but
No.
we'll have all the answers for this book,
Yes. That's right.
and we will draw our winners
Mm-hmm.
from all of the things posted online, all of the people commenting, and all of our
Exactly.
all of our videos. We will put all of those names into a hat and draw the winner of the. I forgot to bring the prize over here. I'm so sorry, you guys.
No, that's
but
all
of
right.
the milk chocolate wand and our Harry Potter gift bag.
Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? We got Mars. Would you be scared to go in the Forbidden Forest?
Yes.
As the werewolves seem to be in that forest.
I would say yes. Definitely. Yes.
Terrified.
And
Absolutely.
which teacher would you like least to be in trouble with at Hogwarts? And if you were in charge of detentions, what would you pick?
Okay, so let's go one at a time. The teacher you would like least to be in trouble with?
That would depend if you were a Slytherin or not.
Yes.
Yes.
Snape would be worse if you weren't.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
McGonagall probably the other one.
Honestly,
I was going
yes.
to say between those two, yes. Yeah.
So if you're in any other house, then Slytherin.
But when you stop and think about it, she gave them detention with Hagrid.
She did. She did.
So maybe she was being nice there.
Maybe she thought about it.
Maybe she was being a little, okay.
I still think though, if for McGonagall, if you are in her house and you're in trouble with her, it's going to be worse than if you're not in her house.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd probably
yes.
hand you on to somebody else.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She'd hand you on to Flitwick and Sprout. I was like, who's the other two heads of house?
Yeah.
I should know this.
But if you're in Snape's house, I don't know that he would be harder on you. I think it would be harder on everyone else.
Mhm.
He's always so quick to give detention.
Especially to the Weasley twins.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whether they actually go is a slightly different thing. I can picture them just skipping detention, just thinking it not worth the effort if Snape gave it to them.
See, and I don't know. I feel like because Snape would be presiding over it, they would think, okay, just better to get it out of the way.
Probably.
Better not to get on his bad side. Because
Yeah,
even
well,
they have their limits.
Did they have a,
Too
did he have a good
bad.
side?
Not to be on his worst side.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then let's see here. What detentions would you give?
Oh, yeah. What kind of
Oh.
detention would you give?
Well, we have the forest. We know about that one.
Mhm.
Malfoy mentioned writing lines. We have Inquisition methods, apparently, waiting quietly.
Not the chains. Not the chains.
No.
Because usually when that's done, it's not done forwards. It's actually done
Backwards.
behind the back.
So you
So
can't
you're-
even.
So your shoulders break, basically.
Ow! No. No. Not the
Yeah.
chains. Not the chains.
No,
No.
one of the, I think it still has it. I think the Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy, still has a thing in the front from when he handwrote it,
Mhm.
saying sorry for the bad handwriting, because that was done to him during the Inquisition.
Wow.
During the Inquisitions.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
insane.
he apologized for
So
his
no
bad
chains.
handwriting.
No change.
No, let's
Nope.
skip Inquisition methods. Not a good
So
one.
what would you?
Writing lines is
I
just
was
such a
gonna say,
school
I was gonna
thing, old
say,
fashioned school
lines.
thing.
Yeah,
Writing
why
lines.
not just write lines? I don't know.
Do the Breakfast Club thing where they just have to sit quietly.
Yeah, my high school was pretty high on that one. The
Reflect.
in school detention.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I tell someone that they have to read several chapters in a book
Yeah.
and then tell me what they think about those chapters.
Write a review.
Yeah.
See, but I don't think that would be a punishment.
No,
I would
it
love
wouldn't
that.
be. I know it. I would too. But it would be a book where it was telling you about
Oh yeah.
how you should be good and you should obey rules.
Learning opportunity.
The babysitter club method of what is it? Paper on decorum. That extra paper. I think I had to do one of those one time. It's like, really?
I don't know. I'm all
I
about
don't know.
being useful. I think I would make them clean something. Maybe clean the steps, all of the steps in the castle or something.
Oh my God, that would take forever.
Well, if
That
I'm
would be a
choosing
long
a
time
punishment,
You would never finish. That would be a year-long detention.
Yes, you'd be scrubbing steps.
or maybe clean all the cauldrons in all the
Oh, in Snape's class?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, there you go.
or
That's a good
wipe
one.
down all the desks. You know, we're all
Yes.
about cleanliness now.
Yeah.
We were
So-
before,
How
but
much gum is under 1,000 years of school? How much gum is hidden under those desks?
I don't know, but they would find out if they got in trouble with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Tell us in the
All
comments.
right. Okay.
And let's see. Last week's question was the Weasley jumper.
Yes.
Did any of us ever?
How would you make it? How would you make it?
I would probably sew it because that would be the easier thing for me to do. Knitting clothing is fun.
Yeah, You didn't say that with a very excited face. It's an ordeal.
Yeah. Fitting clothing is a lot easier if it's one piece of fabric. Let's put it that way.
Right, right.
I'd probably find a fun picture and just have it, printed onto the front of a sweatshirt.
And I'm going old school. Go to Walmart and get one of those sweatshirts and go get an iron-on.
Well, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
okay.
The iron-on, yes.
I thought you were talking about the fancy way where you take it to a screen printing.
No.
And you could even go so far as to just go and get one of those and then get some fabric paint.
There you go. Okay.
And then our reigning question for the past couple of weeks has been, what happened on Halloween 10
Yes.
years previous
Yes.
to this book? What
Yeah.
happened? Do you know? Do you know what happened on Halloween night?
In 1981. I think we eventually figure
Yes.
out the year is.
I think we'll give you a clue. Harry was a year old.
Or just over a year old.
Just over,
Yes.
Yeah. He
I
was,
think that's a pretty big hint.
yeah, he was orphaned that night.
He
then-
was.
Went to the Dursleys brought him in on All Saints Day. Interesting.
That is interesting. So yeah, Harry lost his parents that night, and Voldemort lost his power in his body.
Yep.
So just a little FYI, that's what happened on Halloween. So I think there was a worse Halloween than that night. Because I think that's what our question was. How it led to that was what was
Yep.
the worst
Right.
Halloween, and that was it.
Yep.
Yep.
This Halloween might be interesting.
This
Worse than
Halloween will be interesting.
Worse than the troll.
Worse than the troll.
Yes.
I would say that's worse than coronavirus too. I'm gonna say that this
Yes.
Halloween is not gonna be anywhere near as bad
Yeah.
as that Halloween was, especially for Harry.
Yep.
So let's find a positive twist on things. Always do that. Always find your silver lining
Yes. And
and your silver
find
owl.
your lucky owl who's silver.
And then the question for next time for the last two chapters is, do we think Harry is right about Snape trying to steal the Philosopher's Stone from Voldemort?
Is
Is
Yeah.
it
right?
Snape?
Is it Snape?
Is it Snape?
Is it Snape who is trying to get the stone? Okay.
And
So-
also, who put the cloak back? Who put the cloak back under his bed?
There you go.
Under his
There
sheets.
you go. Mm-hmm.
Who did it? Who
Well,
gave it back?
Obviously a house elf, but who told the house
Who
elf?
told the house Who found it? Who found it
Yeah.
and sent it back? What is your theory? We may not actually know the answer to that one, but what is your theory?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your theories in the comments. We are always reading them, always wanting to say hi.
All right. So I guess that will be it for this week until next week.
And I am just checking to make sure that we haven't missed any comments. We have a lot of regulars that we usually shout out, so I'm just doing an extra check. And I don't see anyone. So hi to all the regulars, everyone who usually watches. We hope that you will all join us next week in our very last Wizardly Reads for the summer reading.
On Harry's birthday.
On Harry's birthday. All right, I'm gonna.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.